Hello, welcome to the Basics of CBD presentation. My name is Luke Schlag and I'm a representative of Enlita Farms. We've been working with them for the past year and a half here, and we've been able to learn a lot of different things about the CBD industry and kind of what's going on. And as being part of Enlita Farms, we want to offer the most safe and effective products to our customers. We also want to make sure that they know how to find the safest and most effective products. So our goal here is to provide these types of presentations to let the consumers know how to do that. So we put together this with a lot of good information that we've been able to find in the past year and a half of our being in the industry. And we've also got a couple questions here that we get at a lot of our live presentations that the customers are asking about that we're able to answer. So going forward here, there are four main questions that we always get and I really like to go over in these presentations. And the first is simple: what is CBD oil? We're going to go over the definition of it, the things that make it up, and then kind of what you're able to find as far as CBD oil on the market right now. What does it do? There are a lot of things that it's reported to do, and I like to organize those into a couple different properties that allow you to go, okay, I understand how it might affect this, and oh, I understand how this might be something that it works with. Then I like to go into a little bit of the science behind it with how does CBD oil work. There's a couple basic things that I think everyone can understand about how CBD affects your system and allows you to feel better. And then last, and I'll admit I'm a little biased on this one, what is the best CBD oil? This is one of the most important parts of this presentation, as I'm hoping to give you the tools to figure out what the best one is for you, and then to go and tell other people. Because there's a lot going on in the industry right now, and unfortunately not all CBD oil is good or safe. So if I can give you the tools, I think we'll both be the better for it. So going right into this, what is CBD oil? Well, it's a nutritional supplement that's made from industrial hemp. So our first part there, nutritional supplement, that's meaning, okay, it can be taken alongside food, or it can be taken as part of, say, a diet or regimen, when you wake up, before bed, however you want. And it's made from industrial hemp. Well, that's our first term. What is industrial hemp? It's any type of hemp that has less than 0.3% THC. And THC is that active agent in cannabis that makes you high. So when you have such low amounts, it is a type of product that doesn't get you high. So any hemp that has less than 0.3% THC is then called industrial hemp and can be legally made into CBD oil. Second, it's an alternative to pharmaceutical medications and prescriptions and those types of drugs. Many people are using it as a way to get off of opioids or other pharmaceuticals. And when you look at the statistics, around 55% of Americans use pharmaceutical medications, and to put a number to that, that's around 150 million. It gets a little crazy. Now, here's the fun part. 42% of people who take CBD oil get off of their prescription medications. So we have a huge amount of people who are able to leave these types of drugs that have nasty long-term effects and get onto something that helps them improve their lifestyle. Many times oil is found in multiple levels of strength. We actually have our bottles right here. There's 250, 500, 1,000, 1,500, and 3,000. And it's made this way because there are different levels of illness. Sometimes it's just a headache, but other times it could be joint issues, it could be arthritis. Sometimes it could be something even worse. And most CBD oils will have a different strength to address different problems. Finally, CBD oil is not necessarily oil. It's also made into other products such as salve, which we have here on the top, and body cream, which we have below that. Sometimes it's made into liquids like water. Sometimes it's put in gel capsules. There are a lot of different things people are doing with it, and as the industry goes, more and more things are being discovered and experimented with. So what does it do? Anybody who does a Google search is going to be overwhelmed by the amount of things that it helps with, the subjects that it's reported to do and the studies on it. And this becomes rather difficult when we take a look at the master list here. It's kind of nuts, and that's not even all of it now. It gets a lot easier to take all of these things and put them together into properties that it's able to help with. And from there, we're able to kind of look, okay, so it helps with brain health. Well, that fits under a property called neurological protection. And, oh, it helps with digestive health. Well, these are from receptors that are found in the digestive system. So on and so forth. The main properties of CBD are these. It's non-psychoactive, so it won't get you high. It's antioxidant, so it's protecting your cells. Immunomodulatory, which means it's boosting and helping your immune system, so anything that goes with that. It's anti-inflammatory. We have found, especially with talking to all sorts of clinicians and doctors, inflammation is the #1 cause, if not the cause, of all illness. When you're able to remove inflammation, the body is able to relax and breathe better. Things are able to go back into a balance. And CBD's main property is to help with that. So a lot of the things we see it helping with are usually because of this property. It's antiemetic, which means it's anti-nausea. And neuroprotective, this is a huge one. Neuroprotective means it is stopping or slowing the degeneration of brain cells, which is why any of these brain issues can be remedied with CBD oil. In some rare cases, brain health and operations are regenerated, which is incredibly powerful, and it's also a very rare thing. It's anticonvulsant, so it's helping with seizures. This was one of the ways it was first introduced into states. It was prescribed to deal with seizures and epilepsy. And the last, it's anxiolytic, and this is another big one. That means it's anti-anxiety. And one of the things that we always hear from customers and friends and patients who are taking it is they see a reduction in their stress and their anxiety. And the great thing is sometimes that's all it takes to get your lifestyle or your life back on track. Just a little bit less stress. So there's something that's causing all of this. It's called the endocannabinoid system. And it's a very, very interesting thing, the endocannabinoid system, because you've always had it. Even with the prohibition on hemp and how you couldn't manufacture it, research it, or, God forbid, use it for anything, you've always had a system that worked with it. So we have to find out what that does now, because if we're taking CBD oil, it's affecting this system. The main thing about the endocannabinoid system is that it's a controller of your body's functions. So it's helping with the properties and processes that aid appetite, digestion, inflammation, motivation, stress response, sleep, reward, etc. And a lot of these things we might find similar to the properties of CBD oil. I encourage you to look. When this system is out of whack, it seriously affects your quality of life along with your overall health. But if the endocannabinoid system isn't working, your life isn't going very well. You definitely don't feel your best. And one of the problems of it is it's very easy to get out of whack. Number 1, 2, and 3 of the things that most easily do it are high stress, lack of exercise, and poor diet, which are unfortunately very easy to fall into in this day and age. It's easy to have 1, 2, or even all 3 of those happening at the same time, and as I'm sure we can all attest to, it doesn't feel very good when these start piling up. Things that might start to happen are fibromyalgia, IBS, chronic migraines, depression, and anxiety, which drive home the point of quality of life going down as endocannabinoid function drops as well. Going a little deeper into it, here's what happens when you receive CBD oil. Your body starts to create cannabinoids. So to explain, CBD is what's called a cannabinoid. It is a molecule or a compound that is in the hemp plant that it creates and then you use. There are over 150 of those in the body, or in the hemp plant. Now what's interesting is your body makes its own as well. These are called anandamide and 2-arachidonyl glycerol, or 2-AG. When you take CBD oil, your body receives it mainly in the brain, digestive system, immune system, and nervous system. And then these cannabinoids are produced, and they boost your well-being as well as your body's function. These are linked to pleasure, food intake, reproduction, sleep, and pain relief. And Another interesting point about the endocannabinoid system is these cannabinoids are found in breast milk. So even at the beginning of your life, you're being exposed to cannabinoids, the things that are already naturally found in hemp and the human body. The other one is kind of unfortunate. They're also found in chocolate, but unfortunately nobody likes chocolate, right? It's produced during physical activity as well. So if you've ever gotten a runner's high or finished an intense workout, that lighter feeling you get, that is this system being boosted. It's linked to a strong feeling of well-being. And lastly, and I have to preface this, right now, even though the Hemp Farming Act has been passed and it means that CBD oil is legal to have anywhere and travel with, we cannot make any claims about it. So a lot of people though, and a lot of doctors, and a lot of studies are ongoing to see about CBD's interaction with cancer cells, and what it seems like they're finding is that it inhibits or stops the growth of cancer cells. And a lot of research is ongoing into that because of the obvious. That's extremely good, and hopefully it does that. But as of yet, we are unable to make claims about it. However, I encourage you to study, research, and then test CBD oil to see if you can find out if that's true. The last part of my presentation goes over which CBD oil is the best. Now, in our travels, we've found 3 main types of CBD oil. One is really not very good, one is okay, and then the last one has really everything that I think should be in CBD. So we're going to go over each type here. The first one's called isolate CBD. Now, one of the big things about isolate that makes it not okay is its lack of THC. So we know THC, or tetrahydrocannabinol, in high amounts will create a psychoactive effect. It'll make you feel like you're high, as they go ahead and say it. However, without any THC, nothing happens in the CBD product. You end up with an isolate, which actually gets weaker over time to a point where it eventually stops working. And it's common to have flavor added in this type of a product as well. You see, isolate CBD is just that. It isolates everything. It isolates just the CBD molecule, so everything else is taken out. All of the compounds that are naturally occurring in hemp aren't in isolate CBD, so what happens is you end up with a colorless, tasteless oil. And then they add the taste back in because either it is tasteless or it tastes awful. And we found both. And it doesn't benefit from any of the other compounds as well. There aren't just cannabinoids in hemp. There's also minerals, there's also vitamins, there's also terpenes, which produce the taste and have their own unique effects. Isolate CBD is really just a Band-Aid that eventually falls off. The next type is a little bit better, but I still wouldn't go with it given the choice. It's called broad spectrum CBD. Now, the reason it's better is because they've added everything else back in. But the reason it's worse is they've added it back in. You see, we believe the hemp plant really shouldn't be messed with like that, where you pick and choose what's in it. The other problem is broad spectrum doesn't have any THC either. So it's missing that vital component that creates that brain reaction that kicks off the entirety of the product. You end up with something weaker that, again, over time diminishes. It's stronger than isolate, but still lacking. It may contain terpenes, which add to the taste, but sometimes it doesn't. And it does not benefit from the THC reaction that the final oil does. Speaking of full spectrum CBD, this is a great one. This is the whole plant with nothing taken out or nothing added back in. This is industrial hemp as it is grown, put into a bottle for your use. It has the ability to maintain its efficacy. So we've been talking about that this whole time. The other two, they lose effect over time. Full spectrum does not. It tastes fresh, earthy, natural. It tastes like cannabis. It's really a great taste when you get a good product. And it synergizes with itself in something called the entourage effect. So all the compounds in the hemp plant are working together to create an effect that is stronger than the sum of its parts. And this is largely why it can last for a lot longer, if not endlessly. This is the one I would recommend finding. Now, the way to differentiate between these two is fairly simple. You look for a product that's made with industrial hemp. Isolates and broad spectrum type products will carry the wording THC free or 99% pure CBD. These are ones that you may want to stay away from. And full spectrum products are very proud to say it. They'll say full spectrum on the bottle, or they'll say whole plant. And these are ones that look a lot better. The last thing to do is make sure there's a community around it. Once you find a full spectrum product you like, look into it. Make sure that there's other people that have been using it as well. You see, one of the issues right now is that anybody can make CBD oil, and it's not always safe. So what you want to do is make sure that there's a community that's been built up around the CBD oil you're interested in. My recommendation is go to a nutrition store and find it there. Many times online, though you can find a better price, sometimes the products can be unforgiving and do exactly the opposite of what they have been said to do. So, like I said in the beginning, I'm a little biased when it comes to the best product, but I do have good reasons for it. We work with Enlita Farms, and the reasons are pretty simple. They only offer full spectrum products. That's all they do. And they only use 2 ingredients in those products, the first being hemp extract, and the second being MCT coconut oil. You see, CBD needs a base in order to get into the system, and we found that MCT is the best, the most healthy, and the quickest. And not to mention, it gives a nice little energy boost when you use it. Our products are grown in the USA, in Longmont, Colorado, and that's the only place. Finally, next, we ship direct. The only place our oil has been before here is the farm. If you see it on a store shelf, then that means it came directly from Enlita Farms. There is no warehouse, there is no overseas shipping. It went from A to B, to you. And last, our highest value is helping the customer. We desire to bring the safest and most effective options to the market because as the industry grows, we've found that this is happening less and less. And that's one of the reasons we like to put on these types of presentations and answer questions wherever we go, because then we're able to give back this information and help others learn about the products. So that is the end of my presentation. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, let us know.